Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of the DAN Show, and welcome to my latest 2021 NFL preview video. Today, I'm going to break down the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, if this is your first time here, I just got a simple question to ask you. Do you like football? Because if so, you're in the right place. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, ring the bell. That way you can get notified every time I come out with a new video. Now, if you've been here before, you already know the drill. You give me a thumbs up, and you drop a comment below with what you think the Chargers are going to do in the upcoming 2021 NFL season. Now, here's how this video works. I give you 3 things I like, followed up by 3 things I don't like, but stick around to the very end where I break down the Vegas over-under, and if I am going to put action down on the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, hey, let's start off with the first thing I like about the Los Angeles Chargers. The first thing I like about the Chargers is Keenan Allen. Now, most of you probably have no idea how good of a football player this is. He played in 14 games. He had 13 starts last year, and he had 147 targets and 100 receptions. And please note, except for week 1, he was playing with a rookie quarterback. Part of the success Justin Herbert had was in large part to him having a dominant number 1 wide receiver. Since he was injured in the season opener in 2016, the next 4 years he's had 4 Pro Bowl berths, and he's had 403 receptions, over 100 a year average. Let's say you take all the wide receivers in the AFC West and you line them on the fence, and you're just doing old school picking teams. The first player I'm picking is Keenan Allen, and yes, I'm a Chiefs fan, and I actually think Keenan Allen's a better wide receiver than Tyreek Hill. Now, Tyreek Hill's more dangerous because he has Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, but just player for player, Keenan Allen, in my opinion, is better than Tyreek Hill, and I'm a Chiefs fan saying this. Second thing I like about the Chargers are their defensive playmakers. This defense is just loaded with really good young players. You have Derwin James, who was injured in training camp last year. He should be 100% ready to go when the season starts. This guy is just a monster when he's on the field. Joey Bosa, in 59 starts, has 47.5 sacks. Plus, he is a massive force against the run. A lot of pass rushers can just rush the passer, not Bosa. He can stuff the run, rush the passer. Former first-round pick Jerry Tillery, I really thought was best suited in a 3-4 defense, which the Chargers are switching to. I think that he could be an absolute stud in this defense. You have last year's first-round pick Kenneth Murray, who had over 100 tackles as a rookie. Nasir Adderley is a guy I'd love to come out of Delaware, could play corner or safety. With the Chargers, he's just been a free safety. He's a guy who's just got massive upside. And here's the drill. With the scheme change, I use Ourlads to look at a starting lineup, and they currently have 13 starters on the defense, which obviously can't happen. The one thing that's very clear is that not counting Chris Harris and Linval Joseph, both these guys might not even be day one starters on this defense. Everyone on the team except for these 2 guys are under 30. So you have a young, fast, talented defense. Plus you have legitimate superstars in Joey Bosa and Derwin James and several other young former first-round players and former high draft picks that have the potential to be superstars in this defense. And the third thing I like about the Chargers is you got your quarterback, Justin Herbert. It's kind of funny because there's not very many NFL franchises that can match the quarterback play of the Chargers throughout history. I actually thought that John Hadle was in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He should be, but he's not. Then you have Dan Fouts, Phillip Rivers. Now, Fouts is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Phillip Rivers will be. They had Drew Brees for the first couple of years of his career. Johnny Unitas ended his career with the Chargers. It's kind of funny because good quarterback play just seems to happen with the Chargers. And here's the thing, when Herbert was drafted last year, and I can't prove this, but I really believe that the Chargers had the number 1 pick in the draft. I think they would have drafted Herbert. I believe that the Bengals, who obviously drafted Joe Burrow, like Joe Burrow, I think the Dolphins, if they had the number 1 pick, they would have chose Tua. And The Chargers liked Herbert, and there's a lot to like about Herbert coming out. He was the only one of these three quarterbacks that was a 4-year starter. He was the biggest. He was the strongest. He was the fastest. He was the most durable. He was also MVP of the Rose Bowl, the last game of his college career. And here's the thing. He wasn't even supposed to start. Week 2, the team doctor punctured Tyrod Taylor's lung. Herbert goes in, and he took the Kansas City Chiefs to overtime. He actually had more passing yards and a higher quarterback rating than Patrick Mahomes, and he didn't even know he was starting. Now, in his 15 starts, he ended up with a 66.6, that's a scary number, completion percentage, 4,336 yards and 31 touchdowns. That's nothing short of amazing. If the Chargers had a winning record, he obviously is a Pro Bowl quarterback. Those are Pro Bowl numbers. But of course, when you're not that, when you don't win and your coach gets fired, you don't get a chance to go to a Pro Bowl. But it seems like you have a young superstar here at quarterback. A lot of teams that fire their coach don't have the quarterback position down. The Chargers do. At least that's what it seems like year one in his young career. So to summarize the three things I like about the Chargers, you have Keenan Allen, one of the best, easily the most underrated receiver in the NFL. You have defensive playmakers, young, explosive defensive playmakers, and you have your quarterback position, which looks to be set in a young superstar, Justin Herbert. Now, three things I do not like about the Chargers. The first thing is ownership, and this goes back throughout NFL history. It's funny because I talked about Chargers and how they've had great quarterbacks throughout NFL history. Well, they've also had bad ownership throughout the history of the NFL. And what does that have to do with 2021? Well, it has a few things because it makes me question the coaching decisions. You fired Marty Schottenheimer after a 14-2 season. How many NFL coaches get fired after a 14-2 season? It was one. It's Marty Schottenheimer. Fired by the Chargers. You have questionable decisions in front office. For example, trading Fred Dean in the middle of the 1981 season. Fred Dean goes to San Francisco. San Francisco wins a Super Bowl. The Chargers get knocked out of the playoffs. The 1981 Chargers story is a little unusual, but bottom line, do the Chargers have what it takes to win a Super Bowl? Because you have three AFC West franchises that have won Super Bowls, and then you have the Chargers. Take a look at the AFC or the AFL in general. It's founded by three founding members. Lamar Hunt, owner of the Chiefs. Al Davis, founder of the Raiders. Pat Bowlen, founder of the Chargers. These three franchises are three of the best run franchises in all of sports. Then you have the Chargers. Are the Chargers going to make the necessary changes it takes to win a Super Bowl and surround Justin Herbert with the necessary talent? History says no. When if they're a pass rusher away or a wide receiver number 2 away from making that next step? History has shown that the Chargers will not make that step. The second thing I don't like, which goes hand in hand with bad ownership, is the inexperienced new coaching staff. I brought up Justin Herbert getting a surprise start, so you unexpectedly have to have a rookie quarterback, but you still finish with a 4-game winning streak to go 7-9. And by the way, your last 3 wins of the season are against the Raiders, Broncos, and Chiefs, but you still get fired. I didn't even touch base on them going from San Diego to LA. So I always thought that firing Anthony Lynn was a massive mistake and a bad idea. And you go ahead and you replace him with Brandon Staley, who's been in the NFL 5 years, who's 38 years old. On the other side of the coin, you have the Broncos head coach Vic Fangio, who has 35 years of NFL coaching experience. You have Andy Reid, who has 29 years of NFL coaching experience. This will be year 23 as an NFL head coach. John Gruden has 21 years of NFL head coaching experience, plus that 10-year hiatus. We are still with ESPN breaking down NFL and college players, and this will be year 15 as an NFL head coach. But the Chargers are going to bring in a guy who has 1 year of being a coordinator and 5 total years in the NFL. And his defensive coordinator, well, he's a former defensive back coach, and this will be year 1 as a defensive coordinator. I'm not saying the defensive coordinator and the head coach will not be successful, but their lack of experience sticks out in a very tough division with some really experienced coaches. So I already talked about the the questionable decisions by ownership. Now you have a very inexperienced coaching staff in a very experienced division. The third thing I don't like is the offensive line changes. Now, I'm using Pro Football Reference and Ourlads here as reference points, and I'll put the description or the links to both of those resources down below in the description. That way you can take a look at it for yourself. But using Pro Football Reference, your starting offensive line last year was left tackle Sam Tevy, left guard Forrest Lamp, center Dan Freeney, right guard Trey Turner, and right tackle Brian Bulaga. Only Brian Bulaga returns. The other four starters are on new teams. Per Ourlads, the starting offensive line will be rookie left tackle Rashawn Slater, left guard O'Day Abashu. I'm sorry, I'm going to mispronounce the name, but it's his 16 and 8 years. Corey Lindsey, who's a big free agent signing from Green Bay, but he is 30, so it's safe to assume that his best years are behind him. Matt Freer from Pittsburgh played both guard and tackle, and then Brian Bulaga, who will be 32 when the season starts. Now, Lindsey most likely could be considered an upgrade. He's a big free agent signing. They gave him a lot of money, but on both sides of him are two journeymen, and then at the all-important left tackle position, you have a rookie. You combine this with a brand new offensive coordinator, a new scheme, a rookie head coach. And by the way, Justin Herbert is just a second-year quarterback, so he'll be learning a new scheme and have to deal with 4 new offensive linemen. That's a lot to ask. So to recap, the 3 things I don't like about the Chargers is you have the ownership, the inexperienced coaching staff, and offensive line changes. Now, this is the money-making part of the show. This is the part of the show where I break down the over-under and I reveal if I am going to put action down on the Los Angeles Chargers. I did a live stream where I broke down the AFC West, and the over-under was at 9 wins for the Chargers. It's currently at 9.5, where the over is plus 110, which means that if you make a $100 wager, you will win $110, where the under is negative 130, where you have to wager $130 to win 100. I like the under, and I like it a lot. Now, if you disagree, and a lot of people love the Chargers, so if you do disagree, I strongly suggest you go ahead and you take the over, and you take the over now, because barring injury, this number is going to go down, at least that plus 110. That's probably going to be even money, or maybe even as high or as low as negative 110 before the season starts. Now, I like the under, but I absolutely hate negative 130. I hate the idea of wagering $130 to win 100. I'm going to wait as long as possible because this is a very hyped team, and Los Angeles is very close to Vegas. So there's going to be a lot of action, I believe, that comes in on the Chargers. I'm going to wait as long as possible, and if I can get negative 120 or better, I am going to put action on the Chargers because I really like under 9.5. This is a talented team, but I really think that they're going to struggle this year. I actually think that they're going to finish last in the AFC West. They're entering a really tough division, and I think with all the change and turnover, especially with the offensive line, I think that they're going to struggle this year, but maybe build something better for the future. Now, this is my opinion, but I want to hear from you. What do you think? How will the Chargers do this year? What will the record prediction be? Put that information down in the comment section. Now, if you watch this whole video and you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out quite a bit. And if you've been here before, you already know the drill. You're going to give me a thumbs up. Drop a comment below. I definitely want to hear from you because these videos are just a conversation starter. I offer my opinion. Now I get to hear from you and hear what you think. And Friday, I am going to break down the Minnesota Vikings. So I will see you Friday.